Hello and welcome to Back to the Feature with Evan and Gabby. Double features, double takes. This is the podcast where we talk about two movies, one new, one older, what makes them a good pair, and how the history of films influences the present.
I'm Evan.
And I'm Gabby. And today we're discussing Marty Supreme and
The Color of Money. Cha-ching!
Two films on an epic scale that depict young men who exceed at niche sports.
Oh, and exceed, they do.
Succeed, not so much.
Well, it's a new year. Happy New Year, Gabby. This is our first recording of 2026.
It sure is. New year, new us, new Hollywood. Let's hope so.
I mean, for better or for worse, you know? Succeed, exceed, Hollywood, prove us wrong. How were your holidays, Gabby?
Pretty good. We stayed in LA and we enjoyed there not being as much traffic. But I will say, I think that it's a recession indicator that LA was still pretty crowded these holidays. It was like, I've been here before when it's completely empty for the holidays, like no one is here. And this year, it was not as empty as it usually is at this time of year. And I was like, you know what? I'm not the only one that can't afford to go home this year.
And it rained a lot, right? There's a lot of rain or something like that.
It did rain a lot. This was the LA rainy season. Yeah. And it was fun. I enjoy the rain.
Yeah, I often say I miss being cold, I miss seasons and things like that, but I was in New Jersey for the holidays. If you watched our last episode, you could see me in my parents' basement. And it was cold. It was really cold.
Yes, you were wearing a Snuggie.
That's right. I was blue for the Na'vi. But I just wanted to share that my siblings got me some movie-related gifts. And I wanted to show you them on the podcast because I thought it was fun. My sister went to Taiwan earlier this year, and you know they always get you over there in Asia. They're like, we got these cute Asian things, even though this is a Japanese movie. We have little Totoro with an umbrella.
Yeah,
and so that was cute.
You.
Yeah, and so this guy's gonna go on my desk for sure. And my brother, who lives in Brooklyn, found this place called Leroy's Arts and Gifts. They have two locations, Brooklyn and New Orleans, which classic, right?
Okay.
But they have this really fun print of the Royal Tenenbaums. It's like on a wood block, and so you can see it's still wrapped up right now. I could take it off, but
that
it might
we
be
covered.
Bad. Yeah, so it's relevant. And it looks really good. And he was like, "Oh, I wanted to get the one from Grand Budapest, but it didn't really play as well." So, yeah, I think this is fun. Like these kind of like
that's really cool.
DVD covers or VHS covers, you know, stuff like that. So excited to hang those up.
I love a good VHS. What? we don't do covers the way that we used to do VHS covers. We just don't.
That's true. That's very true.
Except for the Criterion covers. I did get a coveted Criterion this holiday season. Sold out everywhere in LA. Eyes Wide Shut in 4K.
Wow, a movie I still haven't seen.
Wow,
but
that's
I did.
On you.
I watched Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman in another film, Days of Thunder, on the plane today.
I'm pretty sure that's where they met. That's the beginning of it all.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, you could tell.
That's like the beginning of their love story, and Eyes Wide Shut is like the slow demise of their love story. You should watch them back to back, actually. That would be a really interesting double feature.
That's the rewind to celebrate the 4K when it's back in stock. We're going to watch Eyes Wide Shut and Days of Thunder.
You know, I don't think I've ever seen Days of Thunder.
Perfect. This is going to be great. Yeah. That's awesome, though. In. I will say one of my least favorite Criterion covers is the Worst Person in the World cover.
It's not great. I think it's
otherwise, fine. I love all their stuff. And I do want to watch the Worst Person in the World thing. So Criterion, if you're listening, this is no knock on it. It's just that I'm like, the film's so pretty, you know?
You're just personally knocking that artist. You're like, wow, that artist you chose.
I just think it's
Fire.
the fit was not good. I don't mind the style, but the fit, it just, I was like, let's do another one. Let's just
Hot
see.
take, but that still did not stop me from purchasing it. I do
Yeah.
own it. You know what else I own that's really relevant for today's episode?
What? Oh my god.
We got him, folks. We got him.
The background is like
I know the
cutting out.
background is
But
going crazy.
for the people who are just listening on audio, Gabby just pulled out the Wheaties Marty Supreme box. Holy moly.
That's it.
How many grocery stores did you go to find it?
Absolutely none. I had to order this from A24
Oh,
from
that's
the
right.
source.
Yeah.
This is like a $15 box of Wheaties. And I have not opened it yet, but I am guessing there's Wheaties in here. So I don't know. I mostly bought it for my annual Oscars party to just have out on display, but
Oh, yes, that's right. That's fun.
worthwhile.
What if you open it up, it's just ping pong balls in there?
That would be pretty funny. I did get some. I did get some from the screening that we went to.
Oh, nice. That's great. I was too nervous to ask for the ping pong ball, which I guess maybe we're getting ahead of
Why?
ourselves. Because I didn't want to bother the person to get the coin and all this stuff. I don't know. Because I wasn't
You
there for
just
Marty
ask them, and
Supreme.
it's like a little coin. It's like a little
I
coin
know.
they give you at the AMC.
I got so nervous. If it's still up there, I'm gonna get it. And if for some reason there's an AMC employee that recognizes me next time I'm there, and they're like, "Oh, I heard on the pod you didn't get a ping pong ball. Do you want one?" Hey, I'll take it, and we can take a selfie or
I do
whatever.
feel like I do kind of feel like we should start pandering to the AMC 16 employees.
Oh yeah, I mean, we're transitioning into movie news a little bit. There was a report that went out of like the top grossing theaters in America, and the AMC theaters in Burbank, which are the ones that Gabby and I go to most often, they combined all three of them. They call them the AMC
Oh,
Burbank 30, and they're the highest grossing movie theaters as a collective
the
in
AMC
the
Burbank
United
30. I've
States.
absolutely never heard of that in my life. They made that
I
up for this
know,
press release.
but
They
it
made it
works.
up. Mm, but at
That's
least
yeah.
they included my beloved AMC 6, the one that's underground beneath the Barnes and Noble.
I mean, yeah, the
My
AMC
favorite.
30, if you've never been to LA and you just think it's one theater with 30 screens, it must
It's
be like,
not.
oh, it's not. Yeah.
No.
The
It's
underground
so
theater.
much more chaotic than that.
Yeah. It's how I mean, like when we go to the theaters, because there's three theaters within a 1 mile radius of each other, people are often showing up at the wrong one. And when people show up and they're like,
Always.
wait, this is the wrong one, it's so sad.
It's depressing. It's really like, oh man, you gotta
Yeah.
run. You gotta book it to the mall or to the underneath of Barnes and Noble to make your movie. Or you need to go through a really awkward, like shame-filled exchange process with the AMC
Yeah.
employee.
And we say this, and it's happened to both Gabby and
Oh,
myself.
it
Gabby,
has. Yeah.
you told the story on the podcast where you were seeing a midday screening of one of the newer movies we covered, and I've definitely done it before. And I've showed up and I'm like, oh no, I'm late, and like showing up
I'm
just in
late.
time for the last trailer. Yeah.
Sorry. What movies did you see over the break, Evan?
Um, really just Marty Supreme after Christmas Day, and then uh the last thing on my letterbox that I have logged will have been the Stranger Things finale, which I watched on New
Oh,
Year's Eve, which was brutal.
interesting watch. Yeah, I too watched that on New Year's Eve instead of like going out to a party like a regular
Nice, we did the
person.
same thing.
Yeah. For some reason, like we went to a party and then we were like, "Do you want to go home?" And I was like, "Oh,
That's
I was
so
like,
fun.
we're in our 30s now. We're gonna
Yeah.
go home and have champagne alone." I over the break I saw it was just an accident.
Oh, fun.
Um, yeah,
Oh, well, not fun,
I
but
don't
good to
know if
check
it's
it out.
fun, but it was good to check out. Liked it a lot. Ending the ending of that movie. We don't do endings like that too much anymore. Worth a watch just for like an ending that really kind of is like made me yell at the screen like I was really angry.
Yeah,
And
I haven't
then I
seen it,
was
but
really
that's what I've heard.
satisfied.
Yeah. Dang.
Yeah, I was so angry, but also I was like, damn, that's a good ending. We also saw Testament of Anne Lee,
Oh,
which
nice. Yeah.
I dubbed the horniest movie ever made about celibacy. That's what that movie is about. It's Amanda Seyfried thinks that she is the female incarnation of Jesus.
Okay.
And that the way to be closest to God is just to never have sex. And I was like, interesting take. But it was a good movie. I liked it a lot. It's from the creative team behind The Brutalist, a
Right.
movie I
That's right.
liked. In a lot of ways, it kind of is like female Brutalist. um, I saw Hamnet. Hamnet is the
Oh,
first
that's right.
movie of
Yeah.
the new year that I saw. I saw it on New Year's Day, and thanks to the Stranger Things finale, it was absolutely packed at the theater. Like,
Oh God. Yeah.
so I have not seen a movie theater that crowded since maybe like Endgame came out. Like it
Wow.
was absolutely packed. People in merch, people like the line for concessions was out the door, and we were just there to see Hamnet. It was the only theater still showing Hamnet, and believe it or not, I think there was some spillover. Like our theater for Hamnet was packed. And I was like, okay, are these people just waiting? Like they're just making a day out of being at the movies, and they were like,
Yeah.
this one looks okay. We need
I mean,
a bigger downer than the Stranger Things finale.
because even if the Stranger Things finale, like, I don't think is necessarily good, it's still like I watched it as a person who has not seen the last two seasons. I just watched it just to see
Uh,
it, and I was like, whoa, it still is emotional. Like there are still
yeah.
emotional beats, and
I teared
if
up when they
yeah,
showed the little kids when they were really
yeah,
tiny. And I was like, oh, they were so cute. And somehow they were better actors back then, too.
I know.
Um, yeah. But whatever. Good for Winona Ryder. She's free.
She's
She is
free.
free now. And
She had
she's so
maybe what
rich
25 lines in that
in
finale.
the whole season. In the entire fifth season, I think she had maybe 30 lines.
Yeah, it's some
Um,
wild stuff.
but you know what? She's really rich now, like much richer than she was before. And she's free. She can do what she wants. She can be in the ASAP Rocky music video. No one cares. No one cares but me.
Oh God. All right. Well, in other news, it is award season now in Hollywood. By the time this podcast has come out, the Golden Globes winners will have been announced. Lots of awards will be given out from various societies and groups over the next couple weeks. Obviously, the big one for films, the Oscars, the Academy Awards, March 15th. The nominations are being announced. I believe it is the 21st,
20, yeah. 21st or
21st or
22nd.
22nd. Yeah.
Something like that. In the
A couple
morning.
weeks from now. So, we are kind of like talking about doing some stuff for it. So keep your eyes out on YouTube and the audio feed. We might
Keep
have
those
some.
ears open, eyes peeled for our Oscar nomination special.
Don't keep your eyes wide shut. Really bad. I gotta go.
Evan.
I gotta go.
Evan, there's no use in us doing Golden Globe predictions really because this will be out after the Golden Globes.
Mm-hmm.
But who's winning? Timmy or Leo?
Oh,
I kind of feel like that's the closest race.
I think, I think Timmy, I think Timothée Chalamet is gonna win because he's doing
Mm.
more like publicity for it.
Hey, Leonardo DiCaprio is stuck on a yacht in St. Bart's. He can't be here.
He's stuck.
He's stuck on a yacht with a bunch of models. Oh, the humanity.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow. Pour one out.
Pour one out. I'm sure
Yeah.
he has already, but
He's facing one battle after another just to get to LA for the ceremony.
I think he should be back by then, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we're in the midst of like one battle after another really, really picking up steam
Yeah.
though, and just becoming an award season steamroll. So I wouldn't be shocked if Leo wins, but I'm gonna say it's Timmy's. Because also feel like the award ceremonies of like from last year that didn't give him the award for the Bob Dylan movie, they're having like buyer's remorse from giving it to Adrian Brody because he's so cringe and he gave the worst speeches I've ever heard, maybe ever on an award show. And I watch a lot of award shows, a lot of speeches, but that was so horrific. It brought my whole party last year to a standstill for like 8 minutes. And I think that could be part of why Timmy goes all the way this year, is because they're like, damn, we should have given it to him last year. Here you go, buddy.
Oh. Well, I mean, we can talk about his performance in this movie and how it stacks up maybe to some previous ones that he has been nominated for as well. As we kind of like segue into talking about Marty Supreme. Gabby, how did you see Marty Supreme?
I saw Marty Supreme at a special 70 millimeter engagement early screening at the AMC 16. Where else? Uh, and they gave us some swag. They gave us posters. They gave us orange ping pong balls, of course. They did not give me the Wheaties. I paid full price for those, and I would like that on record. But um, it was pretty full. It was a really excited crowd. It was maybe the week before Christmas, so the week before it went wide.
Mm-hmm.
Um, very heavy on the men. A lot of men at the screening. Not surprising. A lot of girlfriends at the screening. And I feel like I really was in my film boy element. Like I just blended right in with my A24 sweatshirt and my reluctant fiance that was like, "Oh, he's Jewish in this, right? That's cool."
Oh god.
How did you see it, Evan? Because last time we talked, you still didn't have tickets.
That's right. I saw it as I mentioned earlier the day after Christmas in New Jersey. I went to the same theater where I saw The Smashing Machine, hoping to run into those four old ladies again in their movie club. But I think they were probably still, hungover from the Christmas festivities the day before. But it was a pretty packed crowd for Marty Supreme. It was a morning showing. I will say, in a classic like bad movie theater behavior interaction segment that we have on this podcast, this guy came, the seat next to me was empty, and then this guy came in maybe like 3 minutes after the movie had started, so he didn't miss too much, right? um and he sat down, and you could tell he was like running and he was late, he wanted to be there. And as he's sitting, he takes his phone and he puts it in the cup holder next to him, and the phone light is
Mm,
on, and you're like, oh, okay, so the light is on, like the screen is on, it's gonna go
rookie
down at some point.
mistake.
The screen was on the whole time, and I was confounded by that because I was like, I can tell he has an Apple Watch too, and the only thing on his screen is the time. He's not like checking it for messages. If things are popping up, he's not taking the phone out and texting. He's just leaving the phone there. And as the
Honestly,
movie,
that's worse. I would rather you
yeah,
be checking your phone than just like leave a light on the whole time.
and as the movie is going, I hear this music. And I'm like, what is this
No.
like EDM music that's going on right now? It's like, this is not another movie. This, like, I can hear very clearly. I was like, is it my phone? Did I leave Spotify on? And then I realized it's the guy sitting next to me. He has the music on his phone and it's playing. And as I've said on this podcast, you never know who you're going to bump into in a movie theater. I've had trouble, speaking to people, and I've been really reluctant to confront people in theaters since then. But this was like, oh my god, I've been looking forward to this movie. I need to be immersed into it because I know we're going to talk about it on the podcast. This is taking me out of it so hard. It went
Yeah.
10, 15 minutes, it's still going on. I was like, how is this happening? And so finally, I had to look over to this guy and I was like, hey, is your phone playing music? And he looked at me, he goes, oh, the phone, the light, as if he was ready to be like, I'm not turning that off. And I was like, no, 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 no,
As
no.
if like, I know already.
Yeah, 100%. That's what the reaction was. And I was like, no, no, music. And I like had to say, and he goes, oh, he picks up, he's like, oh my God. He turned it off. He's like, oh, thanks, bro. Thank you so much. I didn't even realize. I was like, it's fine. Stop talking to me.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. But
I'm
he
watching Marty.
proceeded to put the phone back and the light is still on. And he knows that it's potentially an issue. And then at some point, when Marty Supreme goes into darker moments in the movie, the light is there. And I was like, and I put my hand up like this because I was like, I can't see this anymore.
My God.
Because sometimes he would block it with his arm and stuff like that. But then I was like, this is bright. And I'm doing, and then he saw me doing that. And then he finally took the phone. And I was like,
oh my God.
How are people so inconsiderate? Like, actively.
You were in New Jersey. You were in Jersey, Evan.
Yeah.
They don't treat cinemas like they do out here. Different.
It was
those are a different brutal. Kind of coastal elite out there.
Well, clip it. Gabby, clip the story in that. That's the clip.
I sincerely hope that he enjoyed the movie. Clearly he's used to his screens, and I hope he hears this and never brings a screen to a film again.
Me too. If you go to that AMC in New Jersey, the Back to the Future sticker with QR code is still there. I won't tell you where it is. You'll have to seek it out.
There's still one in the AMC 16 too that people have sent me pictures of, and it's not even one that I put up. It's one that Ariel put up. The one that I put up is definitely not there anymore. They were on to us, but
I don't know where the stickers that you gave me are. I have to find them because I want to get back into getting the stickers out there.
Damn it, Evan.
I mean, no, we are not putting the stickers up. Some of our fans are doing
that. It's our fans, aka our friends that we force and our romantic partners who feel compelled.
Oh, all right. Well, should we talk about Marty Supreme in earnest now?
I can't wait. Let's do it. Marty Supreme, released December 19th, 2025, directed by Josh Safdie, written by Safdie and Ronald Bronstein, produced by Safdie, Bronstein, Eli Bush, Anthony Katagas, and Timothée Chalamet. Starring Timothée Chalamet, Gwyneth Paltrow, Odessa Azion, Kevin O'Leary, Tyler Okonoma, Abel Ferrara, Fran Drescher, and Koto Kawaguchi. This movie follows a man named Marty Mauser in 1950s New York City who aspires to be the greatest table tennis player in the world, and the very interesting events that happen in his extremely chaotic pursuit. Pretty straightforward. Sounds like a Safdies movie, no?
Yeah, I mean, again, this is my only second Safdies movie, right? Like, I don't have Good Time or Uncut Gems. I only have The Smashing Machine and Benny Safdie's performances in Oppenheimer and Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
Hey, he slays in both of those. I think he's really good, actually, as an actor.
Yeah,
but
no, he's great.
Can't wait to see him in The Odyssey as Agamemnon.
Let's go! One thing before we get into some general thoughts too, I think a common thing that has come up about this movie when I've talked about it with friends is this movie based off a real person? And the answer is loosely. Kind of. It's very loosely based off like a person and just related events in the table tennis world. Not all of these things happened, and if they did happen, not all of it happened to this one man either.
Yeah. Marty Mauser, not a real person. Yeah. But in the vein of like Lydia Tarr from Tar, a lot of people seem to think he's a real person. Timmy brings him to life.
Yeah. And there's a biography that Josh Safdie does cite of a specific table tennis player as well.
Yes. And in the pictures, he does kind of look like Timothée Chalamet. So I get it. Why
Marty
people
Reisman.
Would think that. Yeah. Marty Reisman. But I don't know. It's not a direct biopic. It's not one-to-one. To clear that up.
And I think in some ways it makes movies like this more interesting, right? I think overall
Yeah.
when you have a movie that is so the events in this movie are seem so far-fetched, you're like, wait, this can just be fictionalized, and the amount of the way the world is played feels so realistic. You're just like, you're in, you know. I think that's probably like my favorite thing about this movie is just I wasn't over the moon on it generally, but I did like it a lot. I don't love it yet, but I'm very excited to
Mm,
talk about this with you. Like I said, I do feel like the tone of this movie and the direction and perspective is just so great. It's just this like such a frenetic journey from start to finish, and all the performances are really fun, really great. The casting of all the side characters and main characters all works together really well. And it's just it's kind of like one battle after another, right? Marty just goes through one wild event back to back, and
kind of.
yeah.
Yeah. I can't, yeah, even like put it into like a better, like that's the simplest way to put it. It's
Right,
just
yeah,
like
yeah,
things happen to this man that I can't explain. Um,
yeah.
but I did really like it. I'm ready to say I was pretty ready to say that I loved it after I watched it the first time. I do really still want to see it a second time to confirm my love for it, but I felt like so like obnoxious because I was like, "Oh, I like identify with Marty," which is a crazy thing to say because he's not the most likable person. Like he's very focused, you know, he's very driven and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it kind of clouds his judgment. It kind of
Hmm.
makes him a bad employee, a bad son, a bad kind of boyfriend, I don't know, secret lover. And you know, it just affects every other part of his life, but he's so fixated on becoming world's greatest table tennis player and he is so certain that he has the talent to do this and that he is the only person who can do this. And it's like it's arrogant, it's cocky, and like I've heard a lot of people say that they don't like it and they just don't like the character. And I get it. I don't think he's supposed to be likable.
Yeah.
But I was like simultaneously comforted and horrified by how much I was like identified with him when he is sitting in the bed with Gwyneth Paltrow and she's like, "What are you going to do if this doesn't work out?" And he says, "That thought has never entered my consciousness." And I was like, "Oh my God, I've literally said that to my fiance when she's like, "What are you going to do if you can't write TV?" And I'm like, okay, so I get it. I'm Marty and I'm a little bit insufferable. Uh, and that's okay. It's charming. Some people find it charming. Odessa Azion finds it charming that Marty is like a self-absorbed schmuck.
Yeah, I mean let's focus on that, right? Like I think that has been such a big conversation point around this movie is like how this movie depicts the pursuit of greatness, right? And the way that Josh and Timothée Chalamet have described Marty's pursuit of being the supreme version of himself. I think people like um myself and you, right, we both moved to LA with very big dreams of what our careers um could be and still can be, right? You know, never too
Sure.
late, never too late.
Dream big.
But dream big. And I think for people specifically you and I who are quite driven to, you know, achieve these things, I think that's where that kind of relatability kind of like fits in, right? I
Yeah,
definitely
this
think
movie is relatable if you are delusional and, you know, hell bent on a certain goal, like me and you.
which is 75% of Los Angeles, the city,
Yeah.
because it's transplants now.
From New
um,
York.
yeah, But
And
yeah,
of Jersey, I guess.
and yeah, okay. But anyone with big dreams, in a sense, right, doesn't have to be to be like a filmmaker or whatever, right? I think that's like, how do you let that guide your life? And in Marty's case, we see him kind of working on these angles, and like you said, it affects different areas of his life because it clouds his kind of like morality and like integrity as being like a good person if he ever was one. But we know that he cares about people. He cares about Odessa Azion's character. I'm blanking
I
on
have
her
to
name
find
at the
her
moment.
name.
Yeah, want to get it
Um,
here as Rachel, because they
Rachel.
grew up together. And he deeply cares about her, and you can tell that he does care about people in his life. But then, because he needs to achieve this goal, it makes him choose very uh makes him act poorly, I think.
Yeah. He's extremely selective in the way that
Hmm.
he approaches things, in that he is selecting what is best for him and him alone. But
Yeah.
he's also supposed to be 23 years old. He's supposed to be, he's playing younger. Timothée Chalamet is our age about. He's
Hmm.
playing younger. I think that we are supposed to chalk some of it up to like he's young and stupid. Like I think that that's kind of, or like he's young and narrow-minded, or like he
Hmm.
does. I think that that's, I've heard some people kind of justify it in that way, because he does, have some growth over the course of the film, even if it is a little bit forced
Hmm.
by a specific event. But um, yeah, I really overall liked the movie a lot. I liked the energy of the movie. I liked Marty's energy. This is a pretty long movie. It's
Yeah.
about 2.5 hours, but I really, for the most part, I didn't feel it. I was like, okay, we're just in on Marty's adventure right now, and I'm here with him, and it doesn't matter if he's trying to hustle some people at a bowling alley, or you know return a gangster's dog. I'm here. I'm on the ride. But I think that frenetic energy is now something that I'm ready to attribute to Josh Safdie and not
Hmm.
the Safdies after watching this movie. Um 2025, may she rest in peace, will always will always be the year that forced us to realize which Safdie has the juice. And I don't know. We did an episode on the Smashing Machine. We didn't really like it, either of us.
Hmm.
Um, I think this movie does a lot of what I think the Smashing Machine wants to do, exceedingly better. you know? Um,
Yeah.
but I think that, following a man in the pursuit of greatness in like a niche sports setting, they're
Yeah.
they're more similar than you think. And it definitely seems like a bit of a competition, I'm sure, but there is still some heat between those brothers about it. But especially with how Marty has been received versus how the Smashing Machine was received, that's got a sting. But
Yeah.
Benny has the Odyssey, so he'll be okay.
I
Um,
think that's a good point about. I hadn't really thought about it in that sense too. That like the connective tissue between the two films. There, I wonder. Do you think that some of it comes down to some of the like visual texture of the film and the settings? I think like specifically putting it in like 50s, like post World War II New York, I think is a really interesting setting for Marty Supreme to take place in, as just like and how they can make New York look, but also with like just the attitude. I think Marty has a lot of off-color jokes and things
yeah.
like that. There's also a really, I found a quite moving scene of a table tennis player who was formerly an Auschwitz
Hmm.
prisoner.
Yeah.
People were like, "Is this scene supposed to be funny?" I'm like, "No,
No,
this scene
it's
is
about
supposed to be
Auschwitz.
this, and it's also about like uh, this is like that is a man who has achieved greatness.
Yeah,
Like
no,
that is what greatness looks like.
it's also like to remind you that we are in post World War II era
Mm-hmm.
here, like freshly off World War II.
Yeah.
And that these things happened like recently to these characters. This was not like somebody sitting at a table and telling you that this happened 70 years ago, you know?
Yeah.
This this was fresh for this guy. Some people in my theater did laugh, and I felt like it was like a very uncomfortable, like should
Yeah.
I be laughing moment. But it was pretty clear to me that we should not laugh at that.
I mean,
um,
yeah, we just to put a button on the smashing machine thing before maybe talking about that a little bit, is the smashing machine takes place in like the 2000, like 90s 2000s, right? And like there's like a
yeah,
digital texture to it, the way it's filmed, where the cinematography is. And also I think something that Marty Supreme does really well is it makes the stakes of table tennis or ping pong, right, feel really large. And in the Smashing Machine, I felt like maybe I don't remember a lot of the fighting, but some of those were some of the best
because there's
moments
not a lot of
also.
fighting.
Yeah. I guess
um,
there isn't a lot of ping pong in this either, but they feel like really heavy moments when they happen, and that
yeah,
is maybe an interesting distinction between the two films there.
yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I think that visually there are some really key differences that I noticed, but the biggest difference I noticed was just like the energy and the pacing of the films.
Mhm.
You know, like I think Smashing Machine is about the same length as this movie, also. But God, did Smashing Machine feel like I was there for 5 days?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so this to me felt much more on the wavelength of Uncut Gems and Good Time, where it's like there's an anxious energy. You know, you're
Mhm.
nervous for him. You're nervous that something horrible is going to happen when that guy says, "Take my dog to the vet," and he said, and Marty says, "No, like, we're gonna
Yeah.
keep him here and go do what we have to do." I'm like, oh man, what is he gonna do to this dog of a clearly shady man? Yeah. If Abel Ferrara asked me to take his dog to the vet, I'm taking that dog to the
Taking
vet.
it,
I'm taking that dog to the
yeah.
vet. Um, but
Oh man.
But yeah, I meant more energy wise.
Yes, definitely, definitely. But yeah, I wanted to return to that honey scene. The character as Bela, who Marty and Bela later go on a tour with the Harlem Globetrotters
They
around the
sure do.
world, playing ping pong. But something that I felt is interesting in this movie that I don't know if you felt this way as well when it comes to like greatness, right? Like I think the character of Bela, also the character that Koto Kawaguchi plays, Koto Endo, the Japanese
Mhm.
table tennis player, which I guess if we want to hop into Spoilerville right now, the
Spoilerville.
bathtub fallen into the floor of Spoilerville.
Amazing.
But Koto, beats Marty. It's like that kind of like the act one break, right? Where the hero has to learn the
Yeah, he
lesson.
loses.
Yeah. But that we find out that the character of Koto is a very humble and noble character, right? He's someone who lost his hearing in the war and now is playing table tennis just as like a thing, and he doesn't view it as like the pursuit of greatness, right? But now
No.
he is the number one person in the world, but it's very humbling because he's like, what's more important to me is that I still serve my country, which was part of the wrong side of the war and has undergone
Yeah.
unspeakable tragedies,
Mhm.
and seeing the Japanese audience later in the film rally behind him
Yep.
while Marty and him face off in that auditorium I was like, oh my, like he in this movie, Marty is confronted with different people who have achieved success. And I think it's interesting that he has these reflections of what success can look like, and then we are also given the ending of this movie. I don't know. Does that make sense? Yeah. I find it really interesting that the movie presents these versions of success and greatness, whereas Marty is fighting, 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 but he's never quite truly there. Even when he finally beats
No.
Endo, he's not quite truly there.
No, because he's I think that he like what the movie is trying to communicate to us is that Marty is obsessed with the idea of greatness and the
Mm-hmm.
idea of being the symbol of success and the idea of proving to everyone that he's
Mm-hmm.
right about his own greatness, that this is his calling, that he doesn't need to be a shoe salesman at his uncle's store. I think that it's communicating that that is how single-minded he is, that he is not able to see other people's success, or he's not able to recognize that as success, because he disrespects these characters that have achieved
Mm-hmm.
great things, like straight up. Like the Kevin
Yeah.
O'Leary character, who um has I don't think has ever acted before, but honestly thought he was a hoot in this.
Yeah.
He's one of the sharks from Shark Tank. um and he plays like the CEO of a pen company, like
Yeah.
an old like ink and pen company. And he makes fun of it. Like Marty makes fun of it, and then he fucks his wife.
Yeah.
Like he's like I don't care what you've achieved. I'm better than you. And it's like, on what grounds? And he's like, just am. So I think we're supposed to take away that like he is so like self-deluded that he
Mm-hmm.
cannot even see these other people's success as
Yeah, as
success.
because it's only his vision of it, right? And the
Yeah,
person who most closely aligns with that vision is Gwyneth Paltrow's character, right? Kay.
she is. And what is happening to her is that, she is introduced to us as essentially like the first thing that describes her is like somebody looks across the hotel lobby and says, "Oh, she used to be famous," or like she
Mm-hmm.
used to be a big movie star. And so she's introduced to us as kind of washed up and kind of like a has been. So, like, part of why Marty wants to sleep with her is because she was a movie star. Like, he's pretty brazen about that. But what
Yeah.
happens to her later on in the film is that she, her greatness, you know, her approach that was similar to his at one point got her no place really. Like, she's pretty miserable. She's married to somebody she doesn't love. She's, only acting because he's like bankrolling a play for her to be in. She
Mm-hmm.
hasn't achieved what she wanted to in that sense either.
Yeah, and the scene that they share when he visits her at the play looking for her husband is really interesting because like we see shout out Fred Hetchinger who's just like
Oh
in
my
the
god,
movie for a
yeah.
little bit,
For
but he's like, that's not how you would do it. Like if you really wanted to go for it, you would do it like this. And she's so clearly inspired by that passion, and like the thing that links them, right, is this like delusion that it's all going to
yeah.
work out, and
Hmm.
that if you just want it bad enough,
It's
you'll
gonna
get it.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
That people will see how bad you want it and people will recognize how great you are because you are undeniable in that
Yeah.
way. Or, they think they're undeniable in that way.
And then Kay's play gets bad reviews.
Yeah, but that is absolutely, you're right. What binds them together, they're a very unlikely pairing at first.
Hmm.
It's kind of like, why is he pursuing this former movie star,
Yeah.
this 23-year-old ping pong player with a unibrow and acne scars. Shout out to that makeup department. Really convincing.
Yeah,
But
I read that Gwyneth Paltrow thought it was real. And she was like, hey, you should consider getting it removed.
That's so funny. She probably got him some Goop essentials.
Yeah,
It was like,
probably. Yeah,
Timmy, try this.
gifted it
Uh,
in the wrap gift.
hey, Timmy, I've got a face wash that's going to change your life.
I do just want to talk about the other kind of like romantic pairing then in Marty's life, right? With Rachel, his childhood friend. The first
His ride or
way,
die.
yeah, we meet them by her kind of pulling one over, his coworker.
Yeah.
And then the opening credits had me rolling, dude.
I was
The
I
sperm,
was laughing so hard. That was just a biology lesson in itself right
so
there.
funny.
And it's explicit. It's like it's
Yeah.
very like like she's pregnant now. Like it's clearly his. So,
Yeah.
it happens within the first like 4 minutes of this movie, and
Yeah.
it's great. It's great narrative storytelling, I think, visual
Yeah.
storytelling.
Because I almost forgot about it too until she shows up. I'm like, oh yeah, they showed
Yeah.
us that. That's
And
right.
she's literally like 9 months pregnant. And he's
Yeah.
like, oh. But, that's another thing about him is that he clearly really cares about Rachel and
Mm-hmm.
clearly loves her on a certain level, but he won't be with her, and she is married to somebody else. A man named Ira, who is the least Ira looking man I've ever seen on screen.
Oh my God, what's his name? Emery
I
Cohen.
Yeah, I was like,
Wow,
his name
dude,
is
Emery
not
Cohen.
Ira. Come on. Oh my god. I was like, that's not an Ira. I'm sorry. Put Ira
Yeah.
Glass in here right now. That's an Ira. But
But I honestly wanted a little bit more from her character, especially because I had heard so many compliments about her performance leading up to me seeing the film. And I also agree, I think she's really good. I just would have liked a little bit more, but I also kind of want to hear your take about like why do you think that she's so drawn to him throughout this film and knows even though she knows she can't like be with him in a certain sense.
I mean, I don't think they tell us enough about her to get to have a perfect answer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I mean, I agree with you. I think that she is great in the movie. I think I really like her performance. I think she does an amazing job with what she is given.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that we got a little bit more of them, especially considering how the movie ends.
Yeah.
But to me, I read it as that she is his ride or die, and she kind of always has been from childhood. Like, and that she believes in him, and that he, no matter how crazy it sounds, like there isn't really a point in this movie where there's one point where she kind of loses it, when
Yeah.
they're not going to have like a place to stay for the night or something. And understandable, I would be pissed if, even if I was 2 months pregnant, but she's about to pop and she's like, I don't have a bed tonight. um I think that Marty is extremely attracted to having that person in his life that really believes in him. And I
Mm,
think that
yeah.
I think that everybody else in his life really doubts him.
Mm-hmm.
And she is so like team Marty that she like is almost bamboozled and like injured by a mafia man for
Oh
him,
my God, yeah.
which was an incredibly like heart wrenching. Like I was nervous.
Yeah.
I was like, if something happens to her, like this is, and like he's responsible even indirectly, that's going to be tough for me to swallow. But
Yeah.
I think for her, I think that she likes that he aspires to bigger things. Like I think that it's kind of shown that she is very like part of how they grew up. Like they all live in this same building for
Mm-hmm.
many years. She's married to somebody from this community, and I think it's kind of implied that she married him to make Marty jealous a little bit, or
Mm.
something like that, like along those lines of like she knew Marty was not going to marry her. But
Yeah.
I think that she admires something about him, and I think that there's like almost a begrudging respect for him, like unapologetically pursuing something really really big and different. But
Yeah.
I completely understand when she starts freaking out, and when she demands that he acknowledge that this is his baby,
Yeah.
and that this is like his responsibility essentially. And he doesn't really until it's too late. Like he does, and we can talk about the ending, but
Yeah.
um yeah, in my opinion, I that's how I read it, but I don't think that the movie gives us enough of her character to really come to a solid conclusion on what her motivations are with him.
Yeah, I 100% agree with everything you said. I think it's just the that kind of kindred spirit nature, the way that we can see that their personalities are kind of aligned. But I think sometimes I was like a little bit like she's so into Marty and that like he can do no wrong, up until like he refuses to acknowledge that. I was like, I don't.
I mean,
But
I
it was
kind of think
fun, you
she
know.
has to be that way in order for him to value her. I mean,
Sure, yeah,
just
yeah,
in terms of the script, not in
yeah.
terms of like character wise, but
Hmm.
in terms of making their narrative work, I don't think Marty would be interested in a woman that didn't take him seriously.
Yeah,
So
that
I think
yeah
she kind of
makes
has
sense.
to be that way by default. But yeah, I really like her performance and I really want to see what she does next. Um, I think
I
she's
love
great.
LA, right?
Haven't seen it.
Yeah,
Not
me
gonna.
neither. Well, let's talk about the ending. You mentioned it. This has been pretty divisive with people, I believe. So to flash forward, right? Marty needs to, throughout the course of the movie, Marty's raising money to get to Japan. Finally gets there by getting spanked by Kevin O'Leary's character.
An
Um,
excellent scene.
yeah, that he did
Did you
himself. He
see?
was like, "I need
Yes,
to
did
get
you see
spanked."
that article that he was like, I don't want somebody else's ass to be famous for that scene?
Yeah.
And maybe he should have, because that is a flat ass. That is the most pancake flat ass I've ever seen. Tasty. If I were Timmy, I would not want people to know that was my ass.
Hey, he's proud of it.
Yeah, all right. He's scrawny.
He gets to Japan. He finally, after doing a staged match against Kodo, he's able to. He kind of decides like enough's enough. The charade's up. I'm going to play him for real. He manages to beat Kodo in a crazy scene,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, do we want to talk about the vampire thing at all?
I love the vampire thing. I kind of That's my biggest critique of this movie that I gave 5 stars on Letterboxd. If I could do a critique, honestly, I wanted more of that humor. I wanted more like weird Kevin O'Leary being like, I'm a vampire and I've been alive for hundreds of years and I've met 10,000 Marty Mousers and they all suck. Or like they
Yeah.
all die, they never get what they want. Um, I loved it.
Yeah.
I was rolling.
It was so random because then I really was fixated. I was like, could he actually? Are
He
they
could.
positing that
That's
he?
the thing. I'm
No,
like,
he's out in the
he
day.
could.
He's in the
Okay.
daytime. He can't be a
There are
vampire.
day walkers, Evan.
But he does introduce an idea for this late part of the movie. Really, the last 15 minutes was like, you'll never be happy once you get it, once you achieve it, right? He
Right.
physically says that. Marty wins. The American troops love that he wins. They fly him back to New York. He
Yeah.
races to the hospital. His whole family's there. Rachel's there, and then he goes to see the baby. And in this room where all these babies are crying as loud as possible, he
Very
sees
loud.
his son, and it cuts to him, pushes in on his face, and he starts to cry as
He's
everybody wants to
sobbing. He
rule
was
rule
like
the world plays.
sobbing. And I thought that this was very moving. I love the needle drops in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I also, I kind of loved it because I felt like it was a perfect encapsulation of like what it means to realize that you're too late, or
Mm.
that I read that scene as like he knows a little bit now, like this is the first time that he is willing to admit that this should have been his focus, or that like, that this is what should matter to him, but like he got his win. So could he have come to that conclusion before he beat Kodo? I don't think so. Like I think that he needed to get a win in order to get to that place, even if he's not like the number one ping pong player. But I read it as like I don't think he's going to give up necessarily, but it was just like a little bit of opening a door of like, okay, maybe I should have been there a little more, or maybe I
Mm.
should have acknowledged this. And, maybe he feels a certain way, but he didn't do that. We don't see a father figure in this movie for Marty.
That's true. His uncle Ish you know?
His uncle that has a cop come and fake arrest him at his house. Yeah, okay.
I like that reading a lot. I personally don't know if the movie has given, or that I pulled away from the movie like enough to see that. Because for me, I think maybe
I
this is
might be
the,
being too generous, but
and this might be my cynicism, or maybe even narcissism coming into play. But when I
Mhm.
saw him crying, I was like, oh, he's like, it's over. I can't do this. It's all done. This kid has ended all my dreams.
Oh my god, I did not take it that way, but
Because I think sometimes from I think what we can both agree on is that this is now a life altering event for this character, right? And
yeah,
he in this moment he is really recognizing that fact that this is now has
right.
permanently changed the trajectory of his life.
His life is never going to be the same. He's not going to be able to even, go out with the Harlem Globetrotters around the world or anything like that if he wants to
Yeah.
be in this kid's life and be there for Rachel. And um yeah, I mean, I could see why you would view it that way. I did immediately Google after the movie if Josh Safdie has children.
Which
um
he does, right? Yeah.
yes, he has two children. But I also read it a little bit as maybe this is just like it's been described to me. I don't have children. I have a dog. But it's been described to me as like a woman kind of goes through 9 months of like becoming a mother, like,
Mm.
growing a child, like feeling very close to this person that she's creating. And the father does not really become a father until the baby's born, like until you see the
Mm.
baby and realize, yeah, that your whole life is different and you are responsible for this person who is half of you. So
Yeah.
I think it could just be that moment. Like I've heard a lot of men describe that moment of like, you know, they just couldn't feel that for 9 months before. And Marty clearly he doesn't find out until like the ninth month, but I think it's pretty safe to say he would have ignored it. So he ignores it at
Yeah.
first. He's like, that's not mine. He's like, that's your husband's.
Yeah.
That I love that scene where he's like, I pull out. Do I not pull out?
I forgot about that. Oh my gosh.
I was like, clearly you didn't that time, Marty. Jeez.
Yeah. Oh boy. But yeah, I think it is this moment where he is forced to realize he has to grow up, right? And what that looks like for this character, we going forward, we don't
Ooh,
know.
I don't know. I think this child is gonna just have a narcissist for a father, and that's okay.
Yeah, or
Plenty of people have that, and they're fine. They just a lot of therapy later, and they're fine.
he's gonna bring him to the public ping pong tables in the park and just practice and make him a young ping pong star.
He's gonna be like, "You suck.
Yeah. Do it better.
I knew you were Ira's. You suck at this." Does that baby not like look like Ira though? Like they bring out that
Definitely a
baby
little bit,
and
yeah.
the baby has like red hair, like reddish blonde hair, like the husband. And I was like, oh man, is the kicker of this movie going to be that it's not his baby? That's really funny.
That's a fun little theory, right? That she was pulling
I
another
thought
one
that
on him.
I
Yeah.
thought that would be funny. I don't think that's the intention of the movie, but it
Yeah.
would be funny.
Well, any other final thoughts on Marty Supreme, Gabby?
It was supreme. I enjoyed it very much. I want to see it again, and I think that it is Timmy's best performance.
Yeah.
I'm sold on Timmy, fully sold. I've been very skeptical of him because I think that Hollywood has really propped him up as like the final frontier of movie stars, where it's like all of young Hollywood's hopes are pinned on Timothée Chalamet.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've been like, that's a lot. And I like, he's not a traditional kind of movie star.
Hmm.
I do think he's very versatile. I liked him. I mean, the first time I saw him was Call Me by Your Name. Um, and I thought he was really great in that. I think he's been great in the Greta Gerwig movies. He's extremely versatile, and in Dune, like I think that I've really like he's grown in my estimation.
Mm-hmm.
Starting, I'm gonna say, starting with Little Women, he gained some respect. I was like, okay, Lori, and then with you can make fun of me for this, but I have my reasons. Wonka, he pulled off Wonka. Like he pulled it off. Like it was not a flaming failure. It's getting a sequel. It made a lot of money. It's like kicking off a franchise, and he didn't embarrass himself in it. And I was like, okay, I see the range. And
Yeah.
then he did Dune, movies that I wasn't sure I was gonna like, but the first one I was like mixed on. Dune 2, Supremacy, love Dune 2. Um and I think that between Dune 2 and this movie, I'm like he's a leading man now. He is that's him. Um
Yeah.
and just how he's been marketing this movie like crazy. Like he's on like a generational marketing campaign and award sweep incoming for this movie. And I think it's deserved. I think he's great.
Yeah, who else puts a blimp out for a movie that they are acting and producing? Like that's
Yeah.
wild.
Who climbs the sphere? And
Oh,
uh
that's right. He was on top
I'm
of the
sure that
sphere.
it was just like a helicopter dropped him off and picked him up. But still,
Yeah.
um I think, yeah, I think that this solidified that we should all be buying Timothée Chalamet stock while we can.
Oh, 100%. For me, I would say for this movie, shout out Tyler Coma, aka Tyler the Creator.
Yeah.
Really fun scenes, really fun dynamics between the two of them. Everything, the bathtub stuff, oh god, that was so wild. And then
When
my
Marty's like, I'll
favorite,
buy you a new cab. He's like,
yeah,
shut the fuck up.
fuck up, yeah. One of my favorite cameos in this movie was also Penn Jillette from Penn and Teller being the farmer that shoots
Oh,
them,
you're right. Yeah.
because it took me a while. I was like, why does that voice sound familiar? Why does that guy look familiar? And I was like, oh, it's Ben from Ben and Teller. This is so random and also very funny.
Yeah. I did not even realize that until I heard it on a podcast. And now I hear it from you, and it's reoccurred to me. But I didn't even clock it in the movie. Sorry,
Yeah.
Penn.
Well, we're both definitely excited to watch this movie again. I'm sure it's going to get a bigger, a renewed theater push closer to the Oscars. So if you haven't seen Marty Supreme, definitely go check it out because I think it's a super fun watch. But speaking of shooting your shot in greatness, let's talk about The Color of Money. We'll be right back.
We are so back, and we are discussing The Color of Money from Martin Scorsese.
Is this the first Scorsese film on the pod?
It is actually
That's
because
pretty wild.
we almost did Raging Bull for
Oh, yeah,
Smashing Machine.
that's right.
So Josh Safdie also gets the Marty movie, the Marty Scorsese movie.
Oh my god. Yeah, wow, that's a fun
Wow.
link. Hey, put it in. Well, The Color Money was released October 17th, 1986. Like we said, directed by Martin Scorsese, written by Richard Price, produced by Irving Axelrad and Barbara DeFina, adapted from the Walter Tevis novel of the same name. But from what I understand, it's mostly in title alone. But what a title it is, right? The Color of Money? That's a
Great
great
title.
freaking title.
Killer
Uh,
title.
this is, of course, a sequel to the film The Hustler, starring Paul Newman. Paul Newman returns for this film. This Color of Money also stars Tom Cruise, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, and Helen Shaver. And it's always fun to watch older movies and see known actors in smaller roles like John Turturro and Forrest Whitaker both pop up in this one. Really, really fun stuff. They're both great characters in this. The Color of Money was nominated for 4 Academy Awards. Mary Mastrantonio was nominated for Best Supporting Actress. The movie was nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Art Direction, and of course, Best Actor, which Paul Newman won. I believe he also famously was not in attendance for this Oscars, even though he
He
had been
did
nominated
not.
multiple times.
He did not.
Well, looking at the box office too, The Color Money grossed $52.2 million in its box office run. While Marty Supreme at time of recording has recorded 71.4 million. So, if we adjust for inflation, I'm sure Color Money is beating it, but Marty Supreme almost,
It's doing pretty good. It's doing
yeah.
numbers. Mind you, it also cost a lot of money. It's a very
Mm-hmm.
expensive movie. So it may just break even, but I have hope that Marty will have some legs
Yeah.
and keep playing through award season. The Color of Money, as you said, is a sequel to the 1961 film The Hustler. And after 20 years, Fast Eddie Felson has transitioned from pool halls to being a liquor salesman until stumbling upon Vincent Loria and his girlfriend Carmen. Vincent's incredible aptitude of the game with Carmen's general joie de vivre. Eddie sees them as the perfect hustlers. The trio enter a partnership and journey to a 9-ball pool tournament in Atlantic City. Evan, what did you think of this movie?
I had not seen The Hustler or The Color Money before recording this. We were talking
Mm.
about which movie to pair it with, and we decided The Color of Money. But, I was in New Jersey. I had some extra time. I said, I'll watch The Hustler as well. And watching The Hustler and then going straight into The Color of Money and seeing Paul Newman age, I was like, whoa, this is like time travel. And I also like I said, I watched Days of Thunder. So I'm also seeing young Tom Cruise too. And I'm like, this is wild. I'll get into some of my thoughts on The Hustler later, which I did enjoy more than Color of Money. But I really
Mm.
thought The Color of Money was interesting. I was not expecting this kind of like mentor mentee relationship the way it plays out. Didn't realize how big of a role Carmen would play in the movie and how the relationship would between the three of them eventually deteriorate. I thought it
Mm-hmm.
was really, really interesting, especially when it comes to the pursuit of greatness and also how that's intertwined with the spirit of the game, which is something we can talk about more and how that links to Marty Supreme. But Gabby, what do you think?
I I liked it okay. I will say I have not seen The Hustler. Some rookie mistake. Should have watched it. Didn't have as much time. Wasn't in New Jersey. Didn't
Yeah,
feel right. So I still have not seen The Hustler, but it was on the table as something we were considering, and we decided to go with Color of Money. Mostly, honestly, I like thought that the Tom Cruise character was going to be more Marty-esque, but watching the
yeah,
movie,
same.
I felt like Eddie was more Marty-esque, so maybe the Hustler was the move. But close enough. Um, I did like it. I didn't love it. Like there were, but I thought it was incredibly well directed. Like
Yeah.
I loved like watching it. Even when I was a little bit like, okay, this is dragging a little bit. I was still like
Mm-hmm.
really into Paul Newman's performance, especially, and just like even just the shot behind you is crazy. Like the way
Yeah.
that he shoots these pool halls and these scenes is like riveting. I've never been so riveted by billiards.
Yeah.
um,
Cinematographer Michael Bauhaus.
the goat,
Um, yeah.
but um, yeah, I was interested to see a young Tom Cruise performance. I've seen some. I've seen Risky Business and
Mm-hmm.
Top Gun, the original, and this one for some reason, like I felt like this was very juvenile for him, and I had
Yeah.
to look up like if this came. I think this did come before a lot of his like breakouts, but whew, it's a little bit tough for Tom Cruise. It's a tough movie for Tom Cruise.
Yeah, he's doing a lot more than he's normally doing.
Yeah. And
And
he has Beavis and Butthead hair.
yeah, the hair. You
The
texted me. You're
hair
like,
is
we
really
need to
bad.
talk about his hair.
I couldn't stop staring at his hair for the entire movie. I was like, this is really distracting, honestly.
Yeah, and also because I think in the first scene his hair is a little bit different when we first meet him, and then suddenly it's like it's
It's
yeah, it's all poofed
puffier,
up. Yeah,
puffed
yeah.
up. Like him, he's very macho. He's puffed up.
Yeah. Like we said, this came out in 1986, and this came out the same year as Top Gun, which is
Oh.
interesting.
So 86 is basically Cruise's breakout year. Okay.
Yeah. Um
Interesting.
and yeah, Risky Business 83. So okay, got it. But yeah, he's it was very funny. The character of Vincent Laurier is really funny
He's funny,
because
yeah. I don't think he means to be funny, but he's funny.
yeah. But he's also like this guy who, when we meet him, all he cares about is playing video games, winning, and his girlfriend.
Hmm.
And the movie transforms him into a pool hustler,
Yeah.
as if pool hustling is the ultimate aspiration, which
Well, but it
is like,
is for Eddie.
it is, in a sense. When we meet Fast Eddie Felson in The Hustler, the previous film, he is already a grade A hustler. And people have heard about Fast Eddie Felson, and he arrives in Chicago because he wants to challenge one of the greats, Minnesota Fats. And the movie starts out with Minnesota Fats and Fast Eddie Felson. They play 25 hours of pool
In a row?
and in a row. And they don't play the game that's in Color Money, which is 9 ball. They play straight pool, which is different rules. And what they do is they bet money, but they're not hustling anymore because he's not trying to win one over on Fats. They're just playing at the best of his game. And so it's
Okay.
interesting to see the journey of what happens to Eddie. And I won't spoil The Hustler, but I will say, we pick up the Color Money. Eddie hasn't played pool professionally or even likely at all in a long
Mm-mm.
time, and he has good reason not to. When he meets Vincent and he sees his natural aptitude for this game, and he sees something in Carmen, and he's like, I can teach them how to be hustlers, and we can all make a lot of money. And he returns to that, but over the course of The Color of Money, spoilers, we see that he's actually gravitating towards finding the spirit of the game again.
Right. It's more about it's more about him than it is about Tom Cruise, and
Mm-hmm.
it's less about them being a team in the end than it is about him finding his way back to his purpose, which is to be the best, to
Yeah,
win.
and finding love for the game as opposed to, we spend so much time in this movie, and I agree with what you said earlier. There are like some pacing issues with it, um, of him trying to teach Vincent how to lose so you
Right.
can hustle. But
Yeah.
then
And Tom
when
Cruise is like, I don't get it. I'm like,
yeah, but when we
what don't
finally
you
get
get, my guy?
to a legal competition, Eddie actually thinks that they're playing at the top of their game, and he finds out later that Vincent wasn't,
No. And then he's like, I want your best game.
and we don't see it.
And we don't see it. We don't see it, Evan. That drove me crazy.
I
That,
know. I was
yeah.
really upset about that.
Yeah, I really wanted to see it. But I do think that the point is that Eddie gets to that place by the end of the movie where he can say, I want your best game. And,
Yeah.
like he wouldn't have said that at the beginning of the movie. He wouldn't have tried to play it all. Um, so I do think it's more about him finding himself as a player again than it is about him, you know, flashing with this new great talent,
Hmm.
because we don't really see them play at the top of their ability ever.
Yeah. I think it's interesting to look at this film and then look at Marty Supreme as well, because like, I'd love to see it again and see how much, like, does Marty really love the game of ping pong, right? Does he really love the game of table tennis, or does he love the idea that he can be great at table tennis? And then
I
it's
don't know.
where is that distinction between like just being, with Eddie, it's like I can make a lot of money or I can be great. They're not always hand in
Yeah,
hand, right? Because you might have to present yourself as a loser. I think a common
right.
refrain in both movies is sometimes when you lose, you win. And that idea is reflected in both The Hustler and or maybe the opposite of it, as well as The Color of Money. In Marty Supreme, there's no losing for Marty. He has to win.
No. Even when he loses, he's like, actually, this is good for me.
Yeah.
No. But
it's actually not.
It's not. I think the best scene in The Color of Money is the Forest Whitaker scene.
Yes.
It's when Eddie gets hustled, and when Eddie realizes that he has been hustled, and that someone was able to hustle him, but like, he thinks that he is the best, like that he is the best at hustling people. Like, how could he fall for this?
And also, by that point in the night, it's almost as if he's just playing for the fun of the game again, too. Like,
yeah,
he just walks into a
playing.
place.
But that scene really, I found that the most, I don't even want to say emotionally riveting, but just I was the most invested in that scene.
Yeah. And
I thought that Paul Newman's performance from that point in the film on, I mean, he's great in this movie. He's Paul Newman, but has a man ever looked better at that age than Paul Newman? No.
No.
But it must have been weird to watch them back to back and be like, oh, he's aged, but damn.
Yeah.
And
because he sounds different too. Like,
yeah,
because I just watched Butch Cassidy again recently, as well as Cool Hand Luke, and he always has these kind of like mini mannerisms things he does. He's like always really quick, he can do these things. And he, you just get older, right? And you just, you speak differently. You're not doing stuff, but then
change.
When you see I'm like, but it's still him, and he's still doing.
And he's still got it.
The last line of the film, he goes, "I'm back." You're like, "Oh man, let's go."
And I'm like, show me. And Martin Scorsese's like, nah.
Nah. He's like, I showed you already.
Okay, fine. Fine, Marty. But, I think from that point on in the movie, I'm much more interested in Eddie's journey and like his, kind of like from mid act 2 on, I'm much more interested in him than I was in him trying to make a great hustling team with Vincent, because I think that Vincent just doesn't, like, part of it is that he doesn't respect the game, and he doesn't respect that that you might have to lose, or that you might have to, play multiple rounds. Like, he just is a showboat, and he wants to show everyone that he is the best. So I do think that he has some Marty qualities for sure.
100%. Yeah.
But he's not as smart as Marty.
And if it was up to Vincent, he'd want to be the number one at that arcade game. Like,
oh my god!
Like at the beginning, he was like, "This is just sticks."
Yeah. What is he? Yeah. What is he playing? Like Space Invaders or something?
Yeah, something like that. It's like called Scolder or something. I don't know.
His incredibly hot girlfriend is just like, wow.
She is so attractive. It's crazy. And also it does the classic 80s movie thing where it's like, oh, and she's fully nude in the mirror. Okay.
I felt really disrespectful watching that, but I was like, I have to enjoy something in this movie. Thank you, Marty. I was kind of waiting for her to get with Paul Newman.
I know. I was gonna say there's a lot of really interesting sexual tension between the two of them. Obviously, Paul.
That's Newman, what I would have done if I was her and my choices were older Paul Newman and young Tom Cruise. Me and Paul Newman will be driving away in that Cadillac. Goodbye.
Yeah, because there's that scene where he gets so mad at the two of them pretending to be a couple in the bar. Yeah. And I was like, I thought that would go somewhere else,
Yeah, Tom Cruise gets all macho and it's like, your hands were all over her, man. Yeah. And he's like really worked up, and you could tell that he's like 5'3" in that scene, like because he's really like trying to puff it up. And I was like, man, no disrespect to Tom Cruise, great movie star of ours, but you're not Paul Newman. The choice is simple.
Yeah, it's funny to see. It was also like him spinning the pool cue all the time was just this is so classic. He's a showboat. Tom Cruise, yeah.
And I mean, there's just certain things that Tom Cruise, like in every role of his, is like incredibly awkward doing, and part of it is like I feel like romantic chemistry is like not a natural thing for him.
Yeah.
So I do think that the odds were a little bit stacked against him when you have Paul Newman, who's just like raw sexual magnetism from the 60s.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'm glad I saw it though. This was like a Scorsese blind spot for me. It's an interesting stop in Scorsese's filmography as well, because this was kind of just a paycheck movie for him. Like he took this to get back in the swing of things after he'd had some flops. He had a kind of a difficult 80s. And I think that this comes before. I'm gonna look it up. I was gonna say the Passion of the Christ, the Last Temptation of Christ, which was his really big like. Oh no, Last Temptation is after this. Damn, maybe this is what led him to make it. But before that, he had made After Hours and another movie that I did think of later as a possible pairing from Marty Supreme, King of Comedy, which I felt like was the equivalent of like a delusional person trying to be a comedian instead of trying to be a ping pong player.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a movie I like a lot more. But yeah, Marty had a rough 80s. Those movies didn't really make a lot of money. He needed to get back in Hollywood's good graces, needed to have a movie that's turned a profit. So he took this kind of for hire. And you could never tell because it looks so good.
Yeah, I mean, it's another great, collaboration too with him and his editor, right, Thelma Schoonmaker. Just the way the pool stuff is shot and cut, and the way the camera moves is really great, honestly.
Should I name my daughter after Thelma?
Oh,
Maybe.
maybe, yeah.
Not Thelma and Louise, Thelma Schoonmaker.
Yeah.
I'll have to explain that to everyone.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, who? Read a book. See a movie.
I will say, as we kind of like talk about alt pairings too, like the Hustler, I feel like there's a very similar character emotional arc of like initial loss into like how they build back, and then like how the final moments then like change the course of their life. Because I think it is very similarly when Fast Eddie is a lot younger, he is trying to be the greatest, and at that current time, at least in Chicago, Minnesota Fats was the greatest.
Who plays Minnesota Fats? Does he look like Paul Newman?
I think it's Don Gleason. Is that the name?
Who?
They asked him if he wanted to come. They asked him if he wanted to come back for this movie, and he ultimately said no because it felt like the character was added as an aftermath, I think was the quote. Okay. Whereas the actual book, The Color of Money, like him, Fast Eddie and Minnesota Fats do a Marty and Marty and Bela. They go on a like tour around the country, like playing games. Okay. And they like make money with it. Yeah. Where is it? Hold on.
Yeah, Jackie Gleason. Okay.
Yeah, Jackie Gleason. So yeah, I also like, when we're thinking about like other movies of like characters in pursuit of greatness at great detriment to themselves, like Whiplash, another great example.
Love Whiplash.
More recent, of course, but that movie, I think, similarly where you're like that, I relate to this. I mean, I was still doing a lot of music stuff when Whiplash came out, and I was like, oh my god, that's me. Like, that's
that movie fucks. I love that movie. I love Damien Chazelle. Let him out of director jail. I implore you.
Well, he's making a movie about a jail, so.
He is. I appreciate that from him. He's like, yeah, I'm in director jail now, so I'll make a prison movie. I liked Babylon. I'll say it. Loud and proud.
Well, I'll give it a rewatch.
I will. I'll make us pair something with Babylon one day. Love that movie.
Yeah, now it's a new year. A whole another year movies have opened up to us in our imaginary rules.
Right. Yes, the rules that we made up. That we could break at any time, but we won't do it.
2021 unlocked.
Unlocked. When did Babylon come out? 2022?
I think so.
Yep, 2022.
Yeah.
So next year, Babylon is on the table.
Also, I thought of Boogie Nights too. You know, I feel like that's a very similar main character energy.
Yes, I love Boogie Nights.
I watched it for the first time last year.
Ooh, what did you think?
I liked it a lot. I was like, PTA literally just always hits.
He's never. I don't think he's ever made a bad movie. The only movie of his that I don't like is Inherent Vice. I don't like that movie, but that's just like personal taste. It's not a bad movie.
Right.
Like, I respect it, PTA, but I don't like it. My hottest take about Boogie Nights is that Mark Wahlberg's penis should have been bigger.
Yeah, once the reveal happens.
I mean, it's still very impressive, but it's very long. It's not very like wide, you know? I feel like it should have been both. Why choose? Like, we're building this thing up for 3 hours, like it's the shark from Jaws.
Yeah.
And then he takes it out, and I'm like, okay. Like a really, like, it's like a foot-long hot dog. Like, it's not, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they'll re-edit it someday for a new release.
Yeah, it's like George Lucas going in and tweaking the Star Wars version.
PTA, that's the first thing he's gonna do. The first thing he does after he wins like 4 Oscars for one battle is going back to tweak Mark Wahlberg's penis prosthetic. Technology now.
Yeah, it's gotten really good.
Don't tell George Lucas.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for us today. If you're listening to us on audio, please leave a review or comment. Don't forget to check out the video versions of these on YouTube at Back to the Feature Pod. You can follow the podcast on Letterboxd at Back to the Pod and on Instagram at Back to the Feature Pod. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
We're back.
We're back.
Pool cue.
Shock.